Recorded Books Inspirational presents an unabridged recording of A Woman's Place by Lynn Austin, narrated by Christina Moore. This book is copyrighted 2006 by Lynn Austin. This recording is copyrighted 2007 by Recorded Books, producer and publisher of Recorded Books Inspirational, an imprint dedicated to stories of faith and the human spirit. This book begins with the following quote from Proverbs, chapter 31, verses 29 through 31. Many women do noble things, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, and beauty fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward she has earned, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. And now, A Woman's Place.
Prologue, December 1941. Virginia. Virginia Mitchell watched her husband carve the Sunday pot roast and wondered if he was having an affair. He showed more interest in the way the meat was cooked than he did in her. Harold traveled out of town often with his work, so he had plenty of opportunities to stray. He would leave tomorrow on another trip, in fact. He set down the carving knife and nodded his approval. Roast beef looks good, Virginia. Not dry or stringy. She sighed with relief. I was afraid it might be ruined. The sermon went a little long. The new pastor likes to beat a dead horse. Harold gave her his charming smile, revealing an endearing dimple in his left cheek. Virginia never should have married a man as handsome and intelligent as Harold Mitchell. She worried constantly that he would find another woman who was more stimulating than she was, someone who made her seem dull and boring in comparison. Virginia always sifted through his pockets when he came home from a trip and searched every compartment of his suitcase for telltale signs that he'd been with another woman. She even sniffed his shirt collars and the lapels of his suits for traces of perfume. Once or twice she thought she detected an unfamiliar scent. Worry consumed her the way her family was consuming this Sunday meal. Harold piled thick slices of meat onto his plate. 9-year-old Alan shoveled forkfuls of mashed potatoes into his mouth. 7-year-old Herbert gulped down Jell-O as if racing against time. If only she knew for certain that Harold really was having an affair. But then what would she do? Ginny had thought it through countless times as she'd searched his pockets. She couldn't leave him. How would she support herself and her sons on her own? She would have to find a job, and she wasn't qualified to be anything except a housewife. She watched Harold pour gravy over his mashed potatoes and thought that maybe it was better if she didn't know for certain. This way she wouldn't be forced to decide whether to live with the knowledge in silence, forgive him, or leave him. She found it difficult enough to decide what to fix for dinner, let alone wrestle with questions of infidelity and trust. Ginny didn't kid herself. You could never trust a man once he became a philanderer. She had chosen philanderer for her newest vocabulary word. It meant someone who made a habit of cheating on his spouse. For more than a year, Ginny had used a thesaurus and a dictionary to try to improve her vocabulary, hoping to converse more intelligently for Harold's sake, and to feel less inferior for her own sake. She had purchased the 2 books during her one and only year in college, and they'd done nothing but collect dust ever since, except for the odd time she'd used them to press flowers. She had looked up Playboy in the thesaurus, recalling that Harold had a reputation as one before they'd met. The word Playboy had led to philanderer. Was he one? Did she really want to know? She watched him stab a forkful of green beans, and her chest ached with love for him. If only he loved her half as much as she loved him. Harold took charge of the dinner conversation, as usual, asking the boys about their schoolwork and Boy Scout projects. Ginny had nothing new to report about her week. She felt dumb, dull, vacuous, another vocabulary word. Her life was uninteresting and boring, day in and day out. If only she could do exciting, challenging things, be a woman of vision and purpose, like Eleanor Roosevelt. Then Harold would have no reason to philander. The candle flames blurred as her eyes filled with tears. Did anyone even notice the pains she took to make Sunday dinner special? Lighting candles, using her good china and silverware, spreading the table with a white damask tablecloth and napkins. Sunday was the one day when her little family was home together all day, and she liked to make it special. They always attended church, dressed in their Sunday finest, the boys looking like little men in their jackets and ties. Jenny was in no hurry for Alan and Herbert to grow up. She wished they were still babies, or at least chubby toddlers in short pants. Harold chided her constantly for babying them too much. Virginia watched.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.